Wow, relics being locked in vaults that can only be opened by specific maidens? How original. Of all the things from RWBY on, I didn't expect that to be canon. I'm Mediocrity4, and this is my review for Volume 4, Episode 5, the counterproductively named Welcome to Haven. I say counterproductive because very little of it actually takes place in Haven Academy. When it got to the 2D painted backgrounds and still frames to show off Mistral, I did a full body cringe. And I was in the theater premiere at this point. The creators said that they had tripled the budget for this volume, and this is how they spend it? I'm really getting the impression that members of the animation team don't talk to each other. It would certainly explain all the continuity screw-ups and questionable production decisions. Blake's plot continues to make no sense. It completely skipped what could have been a great scene and just spins around in place telling us stuff we already know while not telling us what Blake is thinking she's going to accomplish. Weiss' scene was also possibly pointless. It's really nice to have Weiss concern for random people and the captain being way more pragmatic. Any day where the characters are scared of Grimm is a good day for me. And Yang, what the actual hell? Not only is Mr. Rubber Band Man bouncing around like a pinball from a single slow-motion punch pretty jarring, but the fact that Yang is going after Raven, now of all times, is out of character. As I expressed in my honest look at Yang, the one core consistent motivation she's had is RWBY. Unless, of course, Yang is wanting Raven to help with RWBY, which I would be perfectly fine with. And let's rap about Raven for a beat. I usually don't do a lot of theories, but I'm fishing for things to talk about. So, what if Raven already has the Relic of Knowledge? We know the Spring Maiden has been with Raven for years. Between Maiden Magic and Raven's portals, it'd be easy for them to have swiped the relic without anyone ever knowing. And it would explain things like Raven knowing exactly where and when to save Yang, on a moving train, underground, and also this line.
I told you Beacon would fall, and it did.
Haven looks freaking dull at the moment, but that might be because I'm still pissed they took the lazy route with it. Wasn't one of the benefits of switching to Maya that you didn't have to do crap like this again? And it was never this bad in the first 3 volumes. It just doesn't look like a school. It looks like some political office building. And while I'm on the subject of Haven, Watts being the hacker is the most obvious reveal in the history of obvious reveals. So get ready for Murder Bird screaming like a buffoon when he sees that W. But I digress. Addressing that Ranger shouldn't have walked does not fix the problem that it was dumb for them to walk the entire way. RWBY's response is adorable. In fact, RWBY does get center stage here more than she did in most of Volume 4. It makes me think that maybe, just maybe, the writers are listening to their critics. And did they need to play the entire post-credit scene? I admit that it flows nicely with the previous scene with Lionheart and the following scene at, wow, that's a nice house Ranger has there. But it still feels like it was thrown in for padding because a 23-minute premiere looks better on paper than a 17-minute one. Drunk Crow is best Crow though, and Vic does knock it out of the park. But the episode MVP is Lionheart. They're playing up his cowardly side, and his vocal performance is pretty freaking good. Also, further evidence that the trailer was cut stupidly. He talks about how big Mistral is and how following the fall of Beacon, there were massive attacks all around the area, resulting in a lot of huntsmen dying. Gee, I think that could be an inciting incident for his betrayal. If Salem is in control, then will things like Grim attacks also get under control? Are we sure Salem is the villain? I just love how Osmond is just absolutely wrong about everything regarding humanity's reaction to not knowing about all-powerful people wielding all-powerful relics. And this is why I actually do like this episode despite my complaints. The characters are doing things, and this time it didn't take until the second episode to find out what the goal of the single volume is. Ranger and Yang are looking for Raven, and yeah, Weiss and Blake are still where they were at the end of Volume 4, so I'd hold it at least on par with the Volume 4 premiere. It also gets bonus points for not having a stupid time skip before it. In fact, as I alluded to earlier, most of it takes place between the last scene of Volume 4 and the post-credit scene. I'm Mediocrity4. Thanks for one more thing. The opening, the visual animation is top-notch, but man is this song all kinds of trite. I've listened to it numerous times, and I can't recite a single line from it. But I love the animation. My biggest compliment from the previous opening was that it was the first time the characters were in actual places instead of in front of blank backgrounds or pieces of concept art, but this kicks it up a notch. My favorite part is Raven's smug face when Yang looks obviously distressed. I'll take more of that, please. Thanks for watching.